Good morning. Welcome back. Check it out. New phone. Hopefully it's a good picture. We're going to have a little learning curve today. This is the phone that I have been filming every video that I've done so far on. She's getting retired today. But anyway, we're gonna get back to working on that planter in a minute. Brock is out there putting those closing wheel frames back together. So I'll go out and check on that in a second. I've got a little bit more computer work that I need to do here. And we're gonna try and wrap that planter up today. I don't know if we'll get there, but we'll get close. Okay, well, we're getting these cast pieces here put back on, and yeah, then we'll get the closing wheel frames mounted up. You guys have seen this, so I'm not gonna go through it too much in detail. We got some other stuff to do to this after we're done getting those put back on that will be a little more interesting. Okay, we've got all of the closing wheels stuff done, put back together. So I've decided it's time to fix this tire. I was gonna wait until we folded it up because then I can lift it off the ground, but I figured out a way to lift it off the ground where it sits and I don't have to open the doors and make it cold. So I put a cylinder stop on that one, and I should be able to lower the planter and it will pick that wheel right up off the ground. We're gonna try it. Okay, now my back rank is probably going to go down some, but as I lower it, look at that. It's a thing of beauty, I tell you. Cool. Well, my guess is that this wiggly valve stem is a problem. So I'm going to tighten that nut down a little bit, and then we'll see if we can't get it to seat. We may have to pull the tire off, which just pulled a couple of bolts out, but we'll try this first. Well, unfortunately, that bead wouldn't seat, which means we get to step up our game a little bit. We're going to try this. It might work. It might not. Ready? It worked. Unfortunately for you guys, because if that wouldn't have worked, we could have got the can of ether out. Oh well. Better for me. 40. I suppose before we put this thing back together, we should clean it, since there's still grease on it. We should spray it down with some soapy water anyway, see, just to, is that where our leak is? Maybe. That's possible. I think it was the valve stem, and I tightened that down, so I think we're okay, but we'll spray it with some soapy water, clean it up a little bit before we put it back on there and see what we can find. Well, it's not the valve stem, and it's not that slice that I found in the tire. It's the bead on the opposite side. Pretty clearly, right there. So, I think we can just break the bead and clean it up and try and reseat it, put some sealer on there. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to try. We might get to use that ether yet. Let the air out. All right. Well, we took the bead off, the tire off the rim, and cleaned it up as best we could with a rag and some soap. I'm going to put some of this stuff on there. It's bead sealer. It should work. We did both sides. There was only one side that was really leaking, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it on both. All right, pop it on there. Too slow. Yep. Should have the air chuck on there to be putting more air in as seating, but we got it. Go. It is 40 pounds that needs, so now I'm thinking I'm gonna check how much air is in that tire that looks flat-ish, that I had 60 pounds in. And if it's low, we're probably gonna take that one apart and fix it too. Assuming, of course, that I actually fixed this one, which is still up in the air. All right, well, that other tire looks like we've got fixed, so I decided we'd spray this one down and see if we could see if it was leaking around the bead or something, but here's what I'm finding. It's right there. It's a real small, slow leak, but it's right there. So, that's a little harder to fix, but I think we're gonna take this tire off, dismount it, and see if I can't put a boot on the inside of the tire. What I'm thinking. I highly doubt I'll be able to find the hole on the inside, and it's really small. I don't really want to make it big enough to put a plug in it. And those aren't real reliable anyway. So let's try a boot. Uh-oh. We got another one. Well, there's two spots. So this tire, I put 60 pounds in it the day after we brought this in the shop, which has been 2 weeks ago now, Brock. It's been a while. Yeah. And it's down to 53? 54 and a half. 54 and a half. So it's lost 6 pounds in 2 weeks. It's not the end of the world. It looks flatter now because it's got all the weight. We don't have another tire on over here. So if we can fix them two little spots, she'll go for quite a while yet. I had considered putting different tires on here, new tires, but I think I'm trying to avoid that right now. So anyway, yeah, we're going to take it apart. So I'm going to mark them so I know where the holes are at, and then we'll see what we can do to fix them. All right, so we're going to get this tire back in. We might have to adjust our... Is those the same holes that came out of the top ones? Yes, sir. Yeah. Basically, there's just two bolts that go right through the side here into that center hub. Then if I can get them started, this is super easy. Might have to adjust my height a little bit to get them to line up just right. Oh, that one went. There's a chance you're gonna get that one in? Okay. Let me get this started good. How about now? Put the bolt in so I can see it. Spin it. There you go. So now I'll switch my cylinder stops from that tire over to this one, and we can do the same thing in reverse. All right, so I've been inspecting this tire that we just took off. Let me show you what I found. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 holes. That's kind of a lot, and it looks like a bead leak. I think we're gonna put a new tire on. Look, a new tire. We just so happen to have one in the back, so we're gonna swap that out. That one, I mean, it still holds air, given that I put 60 pounds in it 2 weeks ago and it's only lost 6. All of them leaks are very small, but they are leaks, and it will leak down over the course of the season. So I think what I'm gonna do, we're gonna put that one on the rim, we're gonna take that one, throw it in the back, and write okay used spare on it, so that if we have a catastrophic failure where we run a fence post through a tire, that one will get us by, but not for long-term use kind of thing. All right, so we dismounted the tire from the hub just to make this a little bit easier. I already got the core out, so now we've got to break the bead. I did the last one, Brock. These are pretty easy, actually. Put it right on the edge of the rim, right there. Keep going. You need an angle. Nope. You're gonna do it. Get it in there. Don't go straight down. You got to be on an angle, like that. Just tell them it's the hat.
It's not the hat.
All right. Close.
Is it the hat?
I mean, I got it, didn't I? That one was a little more difficult than the first one I did. I suppose you all want to see this. I didn't do the first side, sorry. That should be easy. Relatively. Put the thing in there and try. All right, YouTube, that's enough of you guys making fun of us. So in an effort to be smarter, work smarter and not harder, I decided that, we fixed the bead leak on that tire down there, but then I thought, I wonder if the tread is leaking like that tire was. By the time we got done, I counted 7 different spots that had bubbles. 9 different spots that had bubbles, because the more you let it set, the more bubbles showed up. So then I thought, well, let's spray these other tires and see what we got. And bad news, we got bubbles. That one's a fairly major one. I think there's another one down there. I know there's another one right there. And that's gonna be a problem. So while we fixed the bead leak, we did not fix the tire. The back side of it looks okay. So then I thought, well, what about the ones down here? And while this one I haven't found much other than this one little teeny tiny spot, this one's got leaks. And that's not even all the way around. So we have 3 options. 1, we can put tubes in all these tires. That will stop the leaks and we can keep using them. 2, we can buy new tires and mount them up tubeless because they're getting some stubble damage and wear to them. Or 3, we can buy new tires that are different and much better, bigger footprint, like what I have on the back of the corn planter, that'll help spread the weight out better. I think that's the option we're gonna go with, but I gotta get some prices around and see. What it means though is that I'm not mounting that new tire up onto that rim, which we got off by the way, until I know what the plan is moving forward here, because it's too much work to mount them and then have to take them right back off again. Things to ponder while I go to lunch. See you this afternoon. Well, just as I was pulling into town or coming into town to go and eat lunch, I got a phone call from a truck driver telling me he had beans here for me. So I grabbed a gas station pizza quick, and here we are. Well, we got 11 boxes, all that variety, but my forklift was dying, so I decided it was more important to get them off the truck and just set them there and I'll stack them up later. Rumor has it I got another truck on its way today, so we'll see. Good and bad about my electric forklift is it started today. It's 15 degrees out here, but didn't have much juice, so I got her plugged in. If we got a couple hours before the next truck gets here, should be just fine. I know some of you would probably like to see more about our grain hauling stuff, but I don't really do that, so I don't show a lot of it. But Phil has been hauling stuff out fairly consistently through the month of January, except for that week that he was in Florida last week. But it sounds like now he's cleaning out our bean bin. Well, sad day, the bean bin is already empty. Good and bad, I guess. What that means is that we're out of beans to sell. But what it also means is the money's already in the bank. that's a good thing. And with the run up in bean prices over the last several months, really, but especially in the last month here, we were able to cash out what little bit we had left and get really good prices for them. So that's a good thing. Oh man, I tell you what, I am glad that my jobs consist of shop work. You know why? Because you see those things up there? Oh, they keep it warm in here. It's so much nicer. I hate being outside in the cold for long periods of time, or short periods of time for that matter. I mean, I do like skiing, but I don't like working out in the cold. All right, well, we're back down to the shop here. I'm gonna get some new tires. So we're gonna put that project on hold. I'll probably put that new one back in the back for a spare, even though it won't fit. Whatever, that's irrelevant. We still have those tires on the corn planter on the wings. So, and then we'll get the new ones coming. So new project. We still have to adjust these no-till coulters. So we need to find, Brock, a piece of plywood, 1/4-inch plywood. There's one right down there under the drill press. What we're gonna do is set that down on the floor underneath this. We're gonna loosen this bolt up, and then we're gonna set the planter down so that the weight is on the openers, and then that will give us our height for our no-till coulter. I'll show you. All right, so we got our plywood on there. Loosen this nut up here, Brock. I'm guessing that's a 24 millimeter. Might need a deep well socket to get on that one, though. Okay, so we've got our opener on the ground back here. We want this to be up a 1/4 inch, so we put a piece of 1/4 inch plywood, maybe a little thicker than 1/4 inch actually. And yeah, so we got to make them teeth mesh up in the one that's closest to what we want. Well, that's not ideal, but it does spin, so it's not deeper than the opener. The problem is if we go up the other way, it's a long ways and we got a big gap. So we're gonna put them there. It's beans, it's not that critical. As long as it's not below the openers, we're generally okay. That's what we've got there. So now that we know the setting and the number of notches where we need, basically we need the one on the arm that the blade is mounted to be on top of the one that mounts to the frame. So that's what, up 1 notch. Yeah, we just need to go through and move the rest of them all up 1 notch. So I noticed that this one kind of, I don't know, guard, whatever you want to call it, it's supposed to go around the front of the openers, curved, like that one is. This one's bent, so I'm going to take it off and put a new one on. Close. No good. So we'll bolt that one up there. We opened the door and we're able to get the planter set down on the floor here and pulled the head just a little bit. Basically what we did was scratch a line in the floor from our opener there, and we can see how close our closing wheels are to center. We're just a little bit off center on that one. I think we're gonna leave it set here for a second. We'll go through and adjust them, and then we'll have that part of it pretty well done. Yeah. All right, this is a lot easier to do outside when it's warm, but it's not warm and we're not outside. And I don't like leaving the door open right now. Let's refer to my earlier comments, but the front of the tractor is sticking outside, so let's hurry up and do this. Okay, well, we're using just about every foot of shop space that we've got. You cannot walk in front of the tractor. You can barely walk behind the planter, but we've got her halfway folded up here. And we've got this little wire brush and scraper on a stick, so we can try and clean them tubes out a little bit better, because couldn't reach in there very good before. but we couldn't get it in with the wall right there when we had it completely unfolded. So we'll clean that up. We did go through and adjust those closing wheel frames so that they're pretty close to the lines in the concrete. And you might also note that there are already lines scratched in this concrete that have been there for a while. We do this every year, so you know, they're established. Thing sits in the same spot every year. Okay, well, Brock's finishing cleaning them tubes out. I'm trying to figure out what else we need to do to this planter, and the two things I've come up with are the tires, which we're going to address on next week, because next week is February, and grease. So we need to go through and grease the whole thing, and there is a fair amount of grease zerks on this. Most notably, there are some on every single one of the gauge wheel arm pivots. There's also on the wheel frames and a lot of the pivots where up and down stuff, and then there's also some on this rock shaft which folds up the rear units. There's some on the marker arms. There's some in the fold pivots in the center. So we'll go through and hit all of those, and then I think we're done. Gosh, look at this. There is a little bit of electronic setup stuff, monitor work that I need to do, but I'm not ready to put the monitor in the tractor yet, so we're going to wait until closer to planting time to do that kind of stuff. And I got to get all the prescription maps and all that kind of stuff done and loaded yet too, but we'll get there. Our John Deere dealer didn't follow directions very good, did they? Remove before delivery to customer. 10 years later, it's still there. All right, time to grease this planter up. We're going to start right here in the front. Brock, there's 2 grease zerks right here. One there on that pivot, one there on that pivot. Then we move to over here. We have on these wing wheel frames a grease zerk. Okay, after we get those done, then there is some on this U-joint shaft with U-joints. There's 3 of them in there, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, right under there, there's one. Now we get the main frame pivots. Then we've got one right in there on that main fold pin, back there. See it? See it? Right there. You got it. Okay, and now we do all the same ones on this side of the planter. All right, now we get to go through and do all of the gauge wheel arms. And they just take a little bit of grease. And, yeah. So you see it come out like that. Okay, 31 more rows, Brock.
Yeah.
All right, so we got all the gauge wheel pivots. Now we've got to grease the rock shaft pivots here. So we've got one here. I think there's 3 of them on each side. So we can get those. Does the picture look better on this new phone to you guys? It looks better to me, but it could just be the phone, the screen that I'm looking at. I don't know. It looks impressive. Because I'm sure that all of you have 8K TVs and phones and screens that you can watch this on. Well, we could do 4K.
Upload
This greasing in 4K and people will watch it. Yeah, I know. I probably am the only person that can upload greasing in 4K. I don't know. Problem is I can't stabilize it, so it gets a little... I guess it's really not that bad. I feel like it gets shaky. You guys tell me what you think.
Drinking too much Dr. Pepper.
It's not... Yeah... Blaming me. Of course, the 4K front-facing camera looking at me, I don't know if I like that. You can see all my dirt on my face. This video is going to take 4.5 hours for me to upload now. You know that, right? Because it's in 4K. High resolution and, yeah, frame rate and all of it. It'll look good, but I don't have the internet for this. Okay, so now that he's got those and we're done obsessing over a camera, we've got just a couple more. There's one on this, on all of these wheels. It might be on the other side, or maybe it's in one of them. Yeah, there you go. To grease the wheel bearings. We are going to wait on the wing wheels. Since we're going to take them ones off anyway, we'll grease them before we put them back on with their new tires. Okay, There are just a couple more grease zerks left on the whole planter, and it's on the markers. There are 2 down there on the bottom. We can get those in a minute. There's also one right over there. Right there. Gonna hand me that?
Yeah.
You coming tomorrow, Brock? Nope. Nope? Okay. I think we're pretty well wrapped up with this planter. So tires is the big thing yet. I'm going to wait until next week to worry about getting those tires. I highly doubt we'll get them on Monday because they're going to have to order them. It's going to take a few days. So it'll probably be by the end of next week, which means I'm not going to leave this planter set here for that long. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Monday. I don't know. We're going to shift some stuff around, move some things. We're going to get this out of here. We'll fold it up. With it folded up, these hooks out here, right there, hook on the center tube right here. And then you can lift those tires up off the ground for transport, right? And so we can take all 4 of them off without worrying about having to support it in any way. So we're just going to do it that way because it'll be easier. The thing is I can't have it all folded up and still fit it in the shop. I don't have enough length because it gets longer as it's folded. Anyway, so we're going to wait to do that, but we'll probably unhook it in the back, put it where the corn planter is now. We'll hook the corn planter up to the 8R, the other tractor. And maybe we'll bring that one in here right now. It's coming in next, but I've got a little project that I'm going to work on between these 2 planters to give me something different to do. So maybe that's going to be tomorrow's project, but we'll get to that tomorrow. All right, well, it's not even 4 o'clock yet, but we're pretty well done with this planter. So I guess that's going to be it for today. I'm probably going to go work on some prescription planting maps for a little while on the computer. So tomorrow we'll have a little bit different video, different content and stuff because we've got to make a trip and haul some stuff around. So, but we'll get this planter out of here too. Get to drive a tractor. Those are always good days. And yeah, so thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, one more thing. I'm going to try very hard. I'm not promising yet, but I'm going to try very hard to do a live stream this weekend. I've been trying and thinking about doing one because it's been a couple of months and I just haven't made it happen. So I don't know when, but keep an eye out for that. I'll try and post it on YouTube as soon as I know what time I can do it. So turn your notifications on and it will let you know, and hopefully you guys can catch it. So anyway, like, subscribe, hit the, wait, I already said that. Leave me comments and questions down below if you have any, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.